say that fathers are really needed in this society because, you know, they are really creating a fatherless society creates broken men.
When you have a kid, like as a child, I don't care that you two don't get along. Make it work. Make it work. It's not about you anymore. It's about your grandchildren, not even me. It's about you instilling in me values. You want your grandchildren to be. My mother, like I now have with my stepdad. Shout out to the stepdad. Now, I have a little brother and sister. I don't want a kid. My dad dealt himself out of a grandchild, and
Would you say that's because of your experience with your dad?
it's there's a multiple factors here, like the social standards also have a factor in it. Like I don't want to. I'm not in a position to have a child, not emotionally, not financially, not socially. It's not worth it for me. And maybe it's going to be worth it for my little brother or my little sister if we make all the necessary changes now to bring families together. Maybe then it's going to be worth it for them. But I feel that I've missed my chance. I don't want to bring a child when I don't know what's the best way to raise that child, because I don't have a good example.
You know when you become one. Nobody knows how to be fathers, mate. You think my dad knew? He thought he knew. Do you know how hard it is to raise me? I nearly died twice. Wonder what? He didn't beat me. You'd know when you know. You'd know. And just come on. If you have good intentions in life, you're a good person, you love. You ever been loved before? You tend to love someone. You will end up loving someone. It's just normal. This is normal. People that want to be fathers, they're going to be fathers and they'll love their children. If somebody don't want to, they're not going to. And then the ones that are going to be neglected, guess what they're going to do? Grow up when they're 20, 25. What about then if they're 12, that my son goes to school with a child that hasn't got no father and that child start beating my son up? What do I do then? Do I beat that child up? Can I find his father to talk to him? I can't. What do I do? My child becomes a victim. And then when it's 15, 16, he kills my son? What then? Things like that happen to people all the time, just through general neglect of children.
Yeah. So
There's a variety of consequences.
how can I bring a child knowing that like I can't do anything about something like that happening?
But you know, it's kind of admirable for him to admit he's not in the best position to bring a child in the world, because a lot of people just think with their dicks and then end up producing children that they can't. So if he has enough self-reflection and a cognitive mind to know he's not in the best position to bring a child in the world, I respect that more than a man who has absolutely no resources to give a child and brings it into the world. So I don't think when it comes to children, it's much to do with love, because it's more to do with duty. Because love fades, believe me.
What I'm trying to say is,
You
like,
said it. You
life
said
fades.
believe me. Your wife watching it?
It's not personal. It's not personal. It's not.
Just because my father was like that doesn't mean that society should look down on fathers as a whole, you know, because then you instill that sentiment and then men think like, oh, well, everyone else is doing it, you know, why are you looking at me for? And that gives them the opportunity for them to be irresponsible. We should encourage people. We should encourage like fathers. Like we should see fatherhood the same way as we see motherhood, because then we avoid all these problems, you know.
Because I'll read something. Because in 2020, there were 15.3 million children in the United States with a single mother, without a father in their life. And the amount of single fathers there were is 3.2 million. So single motherhood, like when I asked the question before, like do mothers, you know, get seen as the better parent? If a child, did we say something?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, if a child does get into a situation where he has to go with one of the parents, it's normally the mother that they go with.
Well, women are incentivized to do that
Mm-hmm.
because they get more child support if the father gets less custody. And so, like, we'll complain all day about men not being in, the kids' lives or whatever. And not the yours was a different situation, but like we're literally paying women to get the father out of the home. Even I had Auntie on here, Auntie Jenny. you
Yeah,
know?
Auntie Jenny,
and
yeah.
she was saying how like back in her day, if the girls wanted to move out of the house, they'd just get pregnant because the government would give them a apartment.
Yep.
Is that a good way to bring a child into the world?
Yeah.
And it honestly just speaks to like women nowadays.
My mom told me my dad did not give any sort of money, no alimony, no nothing,
Right.
And I was thinking about it, like, shit, if something happens, if I inherit something, because at the end of the day, he was my father. What should I do? And I came to the conclusion, out of integrity, I have to refuse it. I have to refuse anything that man gives me, because that then it means that like I'm just unable to make my own future without him. Like, out of principle, you haven't been there. I don't need your, what are you doing?
I don't know.
I
I would take it.
Yeah, me too, man. Take it
Depends
start
how
again.
much, yeah. Depends how much.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean? A few casinos and that.
I mean,
I understand how you feel.
He wouldn't. Nothing that he could give me would be enough for me to justify giving away my integrity.
Okay, fair enough.
He's not successful.
So how has it affected you? Not having your father around.
It's been hard because I didn't, as a child, I didn't know how to be masculine. I would get beaten up, bullied a lot at school. I would be afraid to fight back. I had the glass made of glass syndrome. I was afraid that if I punched someone, like, they would just shatter, because I don't know. Like, I just was not taught to defend myself. My mom, she couldn't really educate me on that side of stuff. So it definitely had an impact on me. I had to learn everything I had to learn from the streets. I had to go through the hard bits, get robbed, get beaten up. And it was a grueling situation, but I think I came out of it quite well, and quite. It could have been worse. I could have come out